The X Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell is largely an opinion talk show. All opinions, comments, or statements of fact expressed by Rob McConnell's guests are strictly their own and are not to be construed as those of the X Zone Radio Show or endorsed in any manner by Rob McConnell, Relmar McConnell Media Company, the X Zone Broadcast Network, its affiliated networks, stations, employees, or advertisers.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
And welcome back, everyone. 1-800-610-7035, worldwide toll free. My email address is xzone@xzoneradiotv.com. On MSN Messenger, xzoneradiotv@hotmail.com, and our website, www.xzoneradiotv.com. Exonation, this hour, my guest is Delphine Saxinger, and she is a certified practitioner in alternative medicine. And I had the pleasure of meeting Delphine over the past weekend at the Body, Soul, Spirit Expo that was held in Toronto. And Delphine has a gift from God. Now, she can talk to the body, get information on health issues, and help the body heal itself. It may be supplements, food, essential oils, exercise, another therapy or therapist. Since opening her clinic in 1995, she has had many testimonies of health returning by doing what the body asks. Joining me now is Delphine Saxinger. And Delphine, welcome to the X Zone.
Thank you very much, Rob.
Delphine, how did you start in your journey as an alternative medicine practitioner?
Well, I think we all start by being sick ourselves. So I had a case of candida that was affecting my lifestyle. And, of course, medical doctors would not recognize candida, especially back in the early 90s. So I went to a practitioner in British Columbia, and I asked, "Are you teaching what you do?" And he said, "Yes." So I took a course called Body Management, and that was the start. It taught me how to talk to the body, and I have been just doing different therapies, but always falling back to that one therapy where I could talk to the body and get the answers.
Are you finding, Delphine, that more and more people are turning to people like yourself who deal in alternative medicine and are either breaking away completely from Western medicine or using it in conjunction with Western medicine?
Definitely. The percentage of people that are coming are growing every year. As you well know, herbal supplements are increasing every year. And people are starting to realize that they must take charge of their body, that they are the ones who own it and must take possession and cannot allow doctors to make the decisions for them. The public in general are becoming better educated and want to make these choices.
It's funny, Delphine, because people take better care of their cars and their homes than they do of their own bodies.
Oh, we always said that, yes.
Yeah.
People would spend more money fixing their car motor than they would on spending money on their health. But through my own technique, I do charge for my testing, but I'm finding that I'm having the bodies are having to need food and water and teas rather than supplements.
What is your take on genetically modified foods?
I would think that we should go as natural as possible and go organic as much as possible. However, I think our bodies are just a magnificent machine and can adapt. If we have a strong immune system, our body's ability to adapt is simply amazing.
You know, as you and I are going to talk over the next hour, there are several things that people can do to finely tune their bodies, and it's certainly one of the biggest advantages that they have is to talk to people like yourself and to sit and listen and to better understand their own bodies, because I believe, Delphine, that the bodies are trying to tell us so much, but we haven't been taught how to listen, and I think this is where a person like you is a great asset to the human race. Stand by, Delphine. You and I have to take our commercial break. Exonation, if you'd like to contact Delphine, her toll-free number is 1-877-326-3113. That's 1-877-326-3113. And her website is www.talkingtothebody.ca. That's www.talkingtothebody.ca. And we'll be back on the other side of this 2-minute commercial break. Don't go by. Take a step back in time and discover old Florida cuisine at Marsh Landing Restaurant in Fellsmere. Enjoy delicacies such as frog legs, gator tail, catfish, and swamp cabbage, or enjoy the more traditional cuisine like hand-cut Angus steaks, ribs, and seafood. Join us for breakfast with a southern flair featuring sweet potato pancakes, biscuits and gravy, and much more. Planning a party? Marsh Landing's private dining room can accommodate groups from 8 to 80 people. While you're visiting, enjoy the historic pictures, artifacts, and stories that line the walls. Marsh Landing is truly a unique experience. Marsh Landing Restaurant, 44 North Broadway in historic Fellsmere, or visit marshlandingrestaurant.com. Marsh Landing, Old Florida cuisine at its best. Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X-Zone radio show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X-Zone broadcast network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan, and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember, 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365.
Are you interested in the paranormal, ghosts, UFOs, or psychic phenomenon? Join me, Tim Bartley, co-host of Talking to Spirits with Lightworkers Tim and Justina, coming mid-January 2017 to the XZBN. We will channel spirits live and talk to them, revealing all kinds of amazing information. Spiritual attachments will be found and removed on the show, and so much more. To find out when you can listen to Talking to Spirits with Lightworkers Tim and Justina, visit www.xzbn.net for listeners on both sides of the veil.
Instead of a new drug, why don't we just learn how to take care of the body we've got, feed it the right fuel, give it the right exercise, and maybe we won't need as many drugs as so many people are taking these days. Exonation, my guest this hour is Delphine Saxinger. She's a certified practitioner in alternative medicine. If you'd like to contact Delphine, her toll-free number is 1-877-326-3113, and her website, www.talkingtothebody.ca. As a certified practitioner in alternative medicine, what do you think is the biggest roadblock for people who still don't understand or don't want to understand the importance of alternative medicine?
What is the biggest roadblock?
Yeah, like why don't more people go to alternative medical practitioners such as yourself instead of wanting to stay with the professional, with the Western doctors and just keep on popping those pills expecting an overnight miracle to happen?
That's exactly what it is. They are waiting for the magic pill or wanting the magic pill. They don't want to take responsibility for their own aches and pains and discomfort. They're thinking someone else can fix it. And for many years, especially with the discovery of penicillin, yes, infections could be beat just like that overnight. And in many cases, if you do take a medication, like a pain pill, it could help to relieve the symptoms. but are you really helping? When you start to deal with alternative medicine, you begin to feel that you have to. People who come to me, first of all, usually are already on the road for good health by eating the proper foods. They're no longer eating very many junk foods or drinking pop or eating candy bars. They're trying to eat the whole food and drink clean water and take supplements and be the best they can, but they're still not making progress. So when they start to come to me, then we can knock down what exactly does the body need. When you go to doctors, they're working on symptoms. And if your symptoms are not strong enough, they just don't know what to do with you. They can't help you. When you come to people like myself and you're already on the road to health in your food and diet or trying the best you can, that's where we can step in and help and support you.
You know, Delphine, I remember the old saying, garbage in, garbage out. And, just watching what people eat these days, you've got all these fast foods. You've got the drive-through mentality now. You've got people who have a cell phone in one hand, even though they're not supposed to be doing it, a hamburger in the other, and they're driving down the road. They're always thinking mom and dad are working. The kids are at home throwing in, everything from these frozen pizzas to these fast food artificial food supplements that they shove down their throats. And then people wondering, well, why do I have fatigue? How come I'm not feeling my best? What's wrong with me? Oh, I've got to see the doctor. There's got to be a pill.
Yeah, it's the sad diet, and I'm sure your listeners have heard about the sad diet many times. And that's what it is. The sad diet is these over-processed foods. And really getting back to nature is the key. The less packages you open, the more you eat raw and fresh and cooked from scratch, the better your body's going to respond. And just by doing this, fatigue can begin to leave your body. The energy can return. And anxiety will leave. Many people complain about anxieties and depressions. And if they could just start working on their body by the simple diet, that alone could change. And drinking the fresh water that is needed.
For people who have never been to an alternative medical practitioner like yourself, what is the procedure? Let's say I call up your office at 1-877-326-3113 and say, I'd like to come down for a visit. You give me an appointment. I show up at your office. What happens from the time I enter your examining room to the time I leave?
Well, be it in person or in Skype, the format is the same. In that we go through the first page is a disclaimer form, and then I go through the second page with the symptoms that you may have. When you go to a doctor's office, they rush you through. And when you come to me, we make sure we find all the problems that you would not even think worth mentioning, like a kink in your neck or difficulty breathing or upset stomach or wet hands or wet feet. Symptoms that you wouldn't think of mentioning to a doctor. We'll break them all down, and I would want to ask questions about why your body has that. The next part of my questionnaire would be about your lifestyle, the medications you're on, the surgeries you've had, what your diet's like, what your supplements are, and I end with what are your bowel movements like, because 97% of all diseases start in the colon.
Really?
So I get an overview. Then I put you on the massage table, or if we do this in Skype, I'm sitting in front of the computer, as are you, and I start testing. And the first thing I do is get in touch with the still small voice of God within you. Once I have that connection, and I can have that connection in person or on Skype, then I start a standard procedure of testing your body that I have developed over the years since I've started in this business in 1995. It keeps growing, and I keep asking more questions and going in more depth. The first thing I would do is make sure that your body the organs are in the right position. For instance, I had a lady who had a prolapsed colon, and she was severely constipated and was taking 6 to 8 laxatives every night. when I was lifted her colon, she went home that night and had a bowel movement that evening and again in the morning without laxatives, just because we were able to naturally lift her organs. And I can do that in person or demonstrate it to you on Skype.
How would one have, let's say, their colon fall? How does this happen?
Because of the sad diet. We're eating foods that take too long to transfer through the body, and that slows the digestion. The body has to work through this unnatural food. And so as the food goes slower through the colon, it gets heavier and heavier, and it starts to fall. And in turn, the stomach will drop, and in turn with the women, the vagina can move over to the left. That's all a process that can be easily remedied with using the meridians. Is the technique that I use.
I understand you also test eyes and ears, and you check the body for inflammation and arthritis. I can understand the inflammation and arthritis, but what does testing the eyes and the ears tell you as a alternative medical practitioner?
I can test. My standard testing is to test the retina and the cornea. I ask the body if it has glaucoma or cataracts or dry eyes or inflammation or infection, and the body has a way of answering me. It is all done through muscle testing. Once I'm connected to the still small voice of God, I can ask the body any question, and physically it will be able to answer me yes or no. Glaucoma is a great one. When people say they have glaucoma, I'm looking at your circulation in your eyes. In my experience, when the people have glaucoma, the circulation is not proper, and that usually is in relation to the capillaries or capillaries being blocked. And when I see that or feel that, I am concerned that many people who have had this blockage are already stroke victims. And I'm able to help support that. And how do I support it? I ask their body what kind of enzyme they could take. I don't sell supplements, but I work off of supplements on a product list. And I can ask the body if they need a supplement, which is usually what it is, a digestive enzyme. And the enzyme would be taken on an empty stomach, so it enters into the bloodstream. So that's my experience. As people continue to take the enzymes on an empty stomach and go into the bloodstream, it will slowly and surely open up the capillaries in a non-invasive way.
There's a lot of stress in today's society. How do you, as a practical and practicing alternative medical person, deal with stress? When people are stressed, I have a test where I test the level of anxiety, or I test the level of the coping ability, and I also test the level of depression. Those are kind of under the same umbrella for me. And I see if there's anything that we can do to add to that to support the body. Usually it's a food or a drink that will help to settle you down. Also, I look at the heart and the backups to the heart. I feel a lot of the anxiety is coming from something physical. So I ask questions about the heart, if it's beating in the right rhythm, if it's getting enough electricity, if it's strong, if the valves are working correctly. And my testing is 10 out of 10. And if it is not 10 out of 10, I would ask, well, what is it? Is it 5 out of 10? Is it 1 out of 10? The body will tell me. So when I find a weakness, I measure how weak it is, and then I ask the body, what does it need? With the heart, it usually is a movement. So when people walk away from me, they might have to do different movements, different simple exercises, and they're doing them for a reason. It's not like going to the gym and you want to exercise the whole body. Sure. I'm giving you specific movements that will support your heart. All right, All right, Delphine, please stand by. It's great having you with us here on the show today. Exonation, Delphine Saxinger is our special guest. Now, if you'd like to contact Delphine for a one-on-one consultation, whether it's in person or via Skype, 1-877-326-3113. That's toll-free 1-877-326-3113, or visit her website at www.talkingtothebody.ca. Once again, www.talkingtothebody.ca. My name is Rob McConnell. This is the X Zone, and we're coming to you from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Don't go away. We'll be back on the other side of the...
This is the X Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X Zone Broadcast Network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan, and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember, 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365. And welcome back, everyone. Delphine Saxinger is our special guest this hour, and I've had the pleasure of meeting Delphine at the Body, Soul, Spirit Expo that was held at the International Center this past weekend. She is quite a lady, very informative, and when she did her lecture, she had people sitting on the edge of their seats waiting to listen to hear what she had to say, and it's a great pleasure having her with us. Delphine is a certified practitioner in alternative medicine. And if you'd like to give her a call, her toll-free number is 1-877-326-3113, and her website is www.talkingtothebody.ca. First of all, Delphine, thank you very much for taking time out of your busy day to join us here on the X Zone.
My pleasure, Rob. Thank you.
Oh, great pleasure. It was really nice meeting you, and you know, I was watching the people when you were giving your lecture, and people want to know the information and value the information that you were giving to them. And this must be a very rewarding for you. I've also read many of the testimonies that you've acquired over the years, and they're just phenomenal. What would you say is the pinnacle up to this point of your career?
Pinnacle?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, probably one of the newest ones that is wonderful is I had a lady who read about me coming to Toronto, and she couldn't wait to see me, so she Skyped me. Mm-hmm. And this lady had, in order to have bowel movement, she had to have an enema.
Oh my God!
Her life was ruled by enemas, and a beautiful young woman. I said, we can't do that. We have to help you,
sure,
in whichever way we can. That was 2 months ago, and back and forth, we did a lot of emails and Skype, and through the right probiotic, drinking the right water, eating the right food for her body, and even a special massage that we could figure out by talking to the body, because she had a ballooning in her colon, and a special massage was able to eliminate it. The body would tell us any answer.
Why don't we listen to the body, Delphine? Why do we ignore the body and figure, all right, we've got something wrong with our body, we'll just go to the doctor and he'll give us the magic pill? Yet, after talking to you this weekend, it's a matter of listening to your body and understanding what it's telling you.
Exactly. When people come to me and tell me, for instance, that they have sinus problems, I'm saying, well, drink your water. Mm-hmm. If you drink the water, that should just open up your sinuses and unglue the mucus that is in your sinuses just by drinking the water. If it doesn't help, you're simply drinking the wrong water for you. And how can I say the wrong water? If you drink tap water, switch to RO water. If you're drinking RO water, switch to spring water. These are simple changes you can make yourself just by changing the water that you're drinking. And if you were to change the water for a week or two, and if it doesn't make a change, you got to keep trying something else. Or contacting me, and I could easily find out what's wrong with the water if that is your problem. And a lot of times, a lot of severe problems I've helped people with just by drinking water.
We talked about the intestinal blockages, but what about the blood blockages, the blood clots? This seems to be a very significant part of the problems that a lot of people are facing these days, Delphine.
Yes, the blood is, to me, supporting the heart as well. It's, of course, our life flow. And we need to test the blood. I test the blood in many different ways, and my testing, again, is more sensitive than the medical doctors. If your blood has not the right quality, you're going to be susceptible to bee stings and mosquito bites. They're going to swell when you're going to react, and that's usually because the blood is not right. You also are going to be plagued with headaches if your blood is not right. Years ago, I had a lady who had, for 7 years, headaches. She'd wake up in the morning with headaches. She'd go to bed with headaches. I tested her, and her body wanted wheatgrass. 3 days later, she phoned me and said, Delphine, I woke up without a headache. That's how fast it is. When you have a problem and you do what the body says, you can be relieved. Can you imagine a headache for 7 years and 3 days later you don't have one? I also test the blood. Many people complain about hot flashes. And through my experience, everyone's saying, the hot flashes with the mature ladies is menopausal.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm saying no. The hot flashes are coming because we simply do not have enough blood. And I have found that over the years, a few men, but mainly the women are plagued with hot flashes. And the simple remedy to help your body make more blood is simply to lay down 20 to 30 minutes every night after your dinner meal, and you lay down, no TV, no books, just lay down, listen to music or meditate or pray, and see what happens.
How important is it for people to meditate and to take that time for themselves each and every day?
It's very important if you don't have enough blood, because if you don't have enough blood, yes, the hot flashes are there, fatigue is there. For our overall general well-being, I think we should every one of us should be taking time to contemplate, understand the intent that we have in our lives, and try and proceed that way.
I understand that you were convinced that bypassed heart surgery and the insert of stents is unnecessary. Tell me why.
When I test people, I'm also testing if the arteries are blocked and how much they're blocked, and then asking what they need. I had a gentleman who had a heart attack 10 years previous when I saw him, and he said, Delphine, I'm getting the chest pain again, just like it was before my heart attack 10 years ago. And I did test him, and in my testing, his arteries were blocked 75%.
Wow.
His body wanted a product called 369, and to take 1 or 2 pills at his last meal of the day. Within a month, he was free of chest pain. And so in 6 weeks, he went to see his cardiologist, and the heart specialist said, you have some blockage, but not much. So whether he would have found more blockage when I first saw the gentleman, I'm not sure. But the bottom line was the chest pain was gone, and he has not needed any work done.
Exonation Delphine Saxinger is our special guest. Her toll-free number is 1-877-326-3113. That's 1-877-326-3113. Her website, www.talkingtothebody.ca. That's talkingtothebody.ca. During your talks, you were talking about insomnia, and when I was listening, and it caught my ear, when you said simply take a tablespoon or a teaspoon of golden tequila?
I test the stomach.
Mm-hmm.
And often, if it's not 10 out of 10, the most common remedy to help the stomach is to take a teaspoon of alcohol. It usually is distilled alcohol, and it quite often is gold tequila, or it might be the German liquor called Kirschwasser, which is a cherry flavored or distilled high alcohol from Germany. Mm-hmm. Or Jägermeister, which is another stomach bitters from Germany. But to take the 1 teaspoon at bedtime, and what that does is it helps insomnia. It helps you. It settles you down to sleep. Because I have found that 90% of the people with sleep problems, they also have the stomach problems. In my understanding of it, the stomach has a bacteria. And as you take the alcohol, it's almost acting like a disinfectant to work to kill the bacteria.
Interesting.
So again, a very easy remedy. If people complain of acid stomach, and there are many people who understand what I say about an acid stomach, it feels like there's acid there. The standard remedy that I'm finding over the years as I work is that the people should not drink anything with their meals 10 minutes before their food until 30 minutes after. When they follow that, their stomach starts to settle down, and the feeling that they have an acid stomach is lessened very much.
Delphine, do you suggest that people start their children on a better regimen of personal health at an earlier age than the established medical community does?
Well, yes, we should. I don't quite understand the question, Rob.
You know, when I was in school, we had health classes, and they taught us the different food groups. They taught us this, they taught us that. That's not being taught in the schools any longer. And it seems that mom and dad, instead of making sure Johnny and Sally eat responsibly, you know, I was the other day. I parked outside of a convenience store near a school near our home. And the kids were going in there buying big bottles of Diet Pop with big bags of chips, and that's their lunch. You know, and there's pop machines in schools. Kids think that Diet Pop that is okay because it's got aspartame instead of sugar, and I am dead against aspartame. Mm-hmm. You know, it seems that nobody's teaching the kids how to eat responsibly, because if a child eats responsibly, then they're going to grow up and they're not going to be so lethargic. And, you know, instead of playing in front of the video game, get outside and play, for goodness sake. Be a child, not a couch potato.
Mm-hmm. I understand what you're saying, and how do we reach them? One of my fantasies would be to have everybody growing wheatgrass. For 4 years, I grew wheatgrass. I started growing it in 2000, January 2000. Mm-hmm. And at that time, I was probably taking 15 different supplements, testing them and needing them. And as I started taking the wheatgrass, by March of 2000, all I needed was wheatgrass and a probiotic. Nothing else. I didn't need any other supplements, because wheatgrass is such a concentrated food. And if we could get our communities to grow wheatgrass, and everyone would drink an ounce a day, and it would cost pennies, I would love to see what would happen to our world.
Now, what is wheatgrass exactly? Is it a byproduct of wheat? Is it part of the wheat family?
It is wheat. It's the hard spring wheat that we grow in our prairie provinces. And so I would buy a bushel of organic wheat, and I would plant it on my website. I have the instructions on how to grow wheatgrass. You plant it, and within 7 days, you're actually harvesting it. You grow it in trays in your house, and it simply is amazing. You do need a special juicer for it to juice it. Mm-hmm. There are manual ones or liquid ones, or machines that will work. And just an ounce a day, it's phenomenal. I'd love to do this in some of our senior citizens' homes and see what would happen to them if we had to start small, or, like you say, in our schools.
Sure. What is the ingredient within the wheatgrass that gives it such such power, such strength?
The molecule structure of wheatgrass is identical to your red blood cells, except for the last leg. In our red blood cells, it's iron, and in wheatgrass, it's magnesium.
I see.
Oh, I think it's magnesium. I'm just lost my thought there on that. I'd have to get back to you on that. But what it means is that the body recognizes the molecule structure of wheatgrass just instantly and can use it. And wheatgrass has been known for dissolving tumors, cleaning your body of toxins. It's truly amazing what wheatgrass can do. And as I work across Canada, I find that the prairie provinces really wanted wheatgrass. The people who lived and worked in the prairie provinces really wanted wheatgrass because it's their local food. And as I traveled to the West Coast, I found people were drawing more for spirulina or kelp to help with the greens that they needed, or blue-green algae. So when I test people, it's surprising. It depends on your locale, too, what you would need.
Delphine, you and I have to take our final break. We'll be back on the other side of this commercial and our words from our fine sponsors. Exonation, Delphine Saxinger is our special guest. If you'd like to contact Delphine, her toll-free number is 1-877-326-3113. That's 1-877-326-3113. Her website, www.talkingtothebody.ca. We'll be back on the other side of this commercial break as the X Zone continues. We're right here on the Talkstar Radio Network, X Zone Broadcast Network, UK High Definition Radio, Euro High Definition Radio, and our family of broadcast affiliates right around the world. My name is Rob McConnell. Don't go away.
This is the X Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
19 Sergeant Central. 19 Sergeant, check. Officers on the scene.
Hi, I'm Larry Lawson, host of Paranormal Stakeout. With over 36 years in law enforcement, I have learned a few things. The most important is the proper gathering and preservation of evidence is vital to putting the bad guy behind bars. It's no different in the world of paranormal investigation. Whether it's the search for the afterlife, cryptozoology, UFOs, and extraterrestrials, how we gather the evidence, preserve that evidence, and present it to a jury of our peers will make the ultimate difference in proving the existence of worlds and entities that are beyond our imagination. Join me, Larry Lawson, every week on Paranormal Stakeout when, along with my guests, we'll take a journey to prove with indisputable evidence what man has struggled to believe for centuries. Go to xzbn.net for the broadcast schedule and check me out at paranormalstakeout.com.
True healing must address 4 levels: physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual, for us to live joyful and productive lives. We tend to treat 3 of the 4, leaving the spiritual languishing. If you're tired of the same dysfunctional patterns cropping up in your life, Soul Balancing is for you. Trixie Phelps, owner and founder of Soul Balancing, is a naturally gifted energy healer trained in numerous esoteric forms, including shamanism. Trixie has created a powerful modality that safely and effectively clears your energetic field. A soul balancing session can remove interference, heal trauma, and restore your hope. Contact Trixie for a life-changing long-distance session today. www.soulbalancing.world.
And welcome back, everyone. Delphine Saxinger is our special guest. And if you'd like to contact Delphine for a one-on-one consultation, or if you'd like to arrange a Skype consultation, 1-877-326-3113. And Delphine's website is www.talkingtothebody.ca. That's www.talkingtothebody.ca. Delphine, we talked about wheatgrass, and nobody here had ever heard of it. Why do you think there's a lot more out there as far as nature is concerned that we've forgotten about, or that has been erased by Big Pharma?
Well, I think the real secret is to get back to nature and to eat as much raw as we can. There's lots of beautiful raw food diets out there. If you would go and look on the net, you can find raw food diets. But miracle foods like wheatgrass are easily something you can grow in your own house, and it becomes a chore no different than brushing your teeth every day to plant and harvest the wheatgrass.
Wow. And you say that people in the western provinces of Canada are very well aware of wheatgrass, and that people on the west coast have other natural products that they tend to gravitate to.
So perhaps I'm wrong there in that wheatgrass is universal. It's one of those wonderful greens, a green product. And then there would be barley grass, and there would be alfalfa, and then there would be all the wonderful blends. But nothing is quite as easy to grow as the wheatgrass and to manage it yourself as the wheatgrass is.
So you say,
not only that, it's delicious on its own. It tastes like new pea pods when you first juice it. It's quite surprising how sweet it is.
And you would just drink the mix on its own?
Oh yes, you would just take 1 ounce of it. There's stores out there, I don't know if we can say names, but there's stores out there that do sell the wheatgrass by juice. In fact, I was traveling here, I saw it at the airport. There was some right at one of the counters at the airport.
Well, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do later on today. I'm going to go to our local health food store, and I'm going to get myself some wheatgrass.
You can get it in powder and tablets.
Well, I'm going to do that.
I find the basis for people to maintain their health, there's 4 basics. It's to have a good greens. I always ask the body if the body is having enough greens. Then I'm asking if they have enough oil, whatever the oil would be, either in a supplement form or in a cooking form. And then I would ask about the probiotic, if they need a probiotic, and what is the best kind. I've had miracles happen by people taking the right probiotic for them. And finally, it's the water. You have to drink the right amount of water, and the right amount and the right kind.
Delphine, I hate to do this, sweetie, but we've run out of time for tonight. You're going to be back with us again because we have so many things to talk about.
Oh, I have so many stories.
And I want to thank you so much. It's been a pleasure talking to you, and it was a great pleasure meeting you at the Body, Soul, Spirit Expo. And Exo Nation, if you'd like to contact this lady, she's a wealth of information. She can make you feel better. 1-877-326-3113. That's 1-877-326-3113. Or www.talkingtothebody.ca. I'll be back on the other side of this commercial break with the news at 10 and a half minutes past the hour as the X Zone continues. Don't go away.